recording. And well, hello. Thank you for joining with us this late afternoon sessions. In today's webinar, we are specifically focused on the working of practice manager. Earlier in February, we had a sessions on getting started with Office Practice Manager, talking about features and what you could do with Office Practice Manager. Today's sessions, Deb will go through in more details of how the system works for her and how it could work for you in practice, and making the most use of the service to run your practice smoothly and efficiently. Before we start, and for me to pass on to Deb Thompson, just a little bit of housekeeping to ensure everyone will have a good experience in attending these sessions, and you would have noticed already everyone will be muted except for the presenter or the organizer as myself. And if during the sessions you have a question, please raise your hands. Send us a questions if you got any queries. And in saying that, I hope everyone can hear me well. If not, please let us know. For those that are signing in from your computers, for best sound quality, a headphone is recommended. Having said that, the sessions is recorded so you can revisit at your convenience if you have missed the questions or sections. So without further ado, I will now pass the control over of the microphone over to Deb to start the webinar.
Thank you, Tiana. Hello, everybody. Welcome here today. So Deborah Thompson's my name, and I'm sure a lot of you might know my dulcet tones. So we are going to talk about Office Practice Management, but I just wanted to give you an idea with Gov Reports of all the things that they're doing. They're helping the BAS agents, the tax agents, corporate and everything, and giving us practice management as well as all our compliance lodgement. So we're talking about the section that is practice management. So when you sign on, currently we've got a work-life balance to remind us to actually have a work or a life, and you'll see that there are the 4 distinct little applications here. So Gov Reports is the compliance arm of it, if you like. IM is the an accounting program, which I think we're going to be finding out more about later in the year. Digital authentication is for our signatures, to get our clients to authorise us electronically so that they don't have to print it out. They can just digitally sign it and we can get that information back, and it's stored in Gov Reports. And then our Office Practice Management. So you can go in either through Gov Reports or you can go in directly into the Office Practice Management. So the things that we're going to have a look at today is revising and customising clients' checklists, revising and adding tasks to jobs that you've already assigned, billing settings, your timesheets, invoicing, adding and deleting to your calendars, and then some information for all of you who work with teams about allocating work to different team members and getting reports out of the system. Let us begin. So the first thing is, when you look at a client in the Office Practice Management, you'll see that there is what is called a checklist. But what it is, it's really useful, and it's in addition to the engagement letter, in that it is all the different things that you might be doing for your client, and you being able to actually, tick them all off, and then, make sure that you and the client are on the same page. Now, you can add to this document, and so what you do is actually go up to the top toolbar to the little cog, or the one that's for settings, and down to your checklist settings to edit this document. Currently, when you edit the document, you can, if you add a line, you'll find that you actually add it onto the bottom of each section. But I chose to change a comment, so that I've said, please review and record bank entries, including credit cards via bank feeds, just so that I get that mentioned in this checklist. Now, you can certainly do that but it is the one client acceptance checklist for all of your clients, and then you just tick the appropriate parts of what applies to that client. So I just also want to remind you that if you have been using the Office Practice Management, really just about the fact of some of the terminology may be, you know, sort of not what you're used to. So what I just want to reiterate is jobs, obviously are jobs, which is good, is what the whole job that you're completing for the client. Then within a job you have tasks, but the tasks then have checklists which are part of the tasks. So just be aware that when you hear the word checklist, it is used in a couple of different places. So you just need to make sure you know which one it's talking about. So in your templates, just to show you that, here we have a job, says check client details. So that is the job. And then we go to the tasks. And you'll see that there's no tasks there, but we can add a task. And it's just a matter of you, if you have checklists, of you being able to put them into the system so that the system can work how you work, and so that again all of your staff members are actually using the same checklist, so that you know that the work is, you know, everybody's doing the same thing generally in the same way. Then you have the task, and then you add a checklist to the task. So a task might have 3 or 4 parts. So you are making that pass, and it's called a checklist. Now you can add it as you've seen that I've created it straight from there, and hit save. You'll see there that now it appears under the tasks, but if I want to add another checklist part of my task there, I can just hit it on that first screen. But each time what you have to remember is that you have to hit add checklist, and then you can type in the part of the task that you want to, you know, reiterate for everybody to do the same thing. So there are, you know, you can have hundreds of jobs if you want in your system, so that it is just actually works, you know, everything that you do within the business you can have happening on your system. Now, one of the other things that you might have done if you've been using the system for a while, the way that I've done it, I sometimes create a job, but I'm too quick, I'm too lazy, or I'm in too much of a hurry, whatever it is, that I actually don't put any tasks to that job. And so I've attached the jobs to many clients, but okay, now I've got no tasks. So how do I fix it? So there is absolutely a way of adding those tasks on to each job. I create I've created the template. I go back and put all that information on the template, and then I can just copy that template onto any job that I want that's already set up. Or if it's only one particular task, for example, you might have a checklist to do a BAS, and currently it's all fine and you've been using it for a while, but simpler BAS is coming along, and so you just want to add a single task, and that is absolutely possible as well. So with your task information, just to reiterate that you need to go to the checklist, and you always need to add checklist to get that detail in. So here is an example of where I've gone and set up training for simpler BAS, and I actually did that for the last webinar, in fact, and I set it up and I attached it to all of my clients. But what I hadn't done was I hadn't put the tasks in there. Now you'll see I've gone back to my job and I've added all the tasks, but I've got all of these clients who have a job attached to them but don't have any tasks. So to do this in a multiple way of getting all of those tasks is very simple. I just go to my main screen again, hit edit, and at the top of every job you'll see that you can copy from an existing template or job. So you pick which group out of it, and then you pick the job that's already set up with all the tasks, and you hit copy. That then will copy all of the tasks that are on that job that you've used, and that will put it into the new job or the job that you've just attached it to. So you save that, and then you're able to go back to that particular job, and you'll now see you have all of the tasks associated with that job, and that can be copied to, however many jobs that you need it to be. So, Tiana, is there anything that you would like to comment at the moment, or questions or anything that you'd like to talk about?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward, Deb. Yes, good tips for those that, for me as well, in using the system. So, and we haven't got any questions from the panel as well, so we'll see how we go. Just move on.
Okay, all right. So the next thing is about timesheets, billing and invoicing, because a lot of us want to be able to have that all in the same place that we're doing all of our client management. So we'll have our compliance and we'll have timesheets in there and be able to bill them all through the same program, which makes our life much easier. So the first thing you need to do is create the billing settings. Now, there's a top toolbar, there's billing and invoice settings, and that is the default for your company. Then you can have individual pricing on each job, each staff member, and each client. So again, we go to that little cog and where it's setting, and the first one we have a look at is at billings. So this here, I've already got a rate per hour in there, and I can tick tax inclusive. So I can update that. So that is for my whole business. That's going to be my basic hourly rate. And then I go and have a look at my invoice settings, and this is where I can say if I give discounts or if I add freight or if I need particular terms and conditions that I want on my invoicing. So then once I've done those billings, I can then go and set up my individual clients, and pretending that Thompson's Bookkeeping is an individual client, I can go into the billing settings and edit that and put in my price for this client. So if you have a fixed fee or you have a fixed hourly rate for that client, you can put it in per hour. And then we also have the billing method that is attached to the client. It says, are we going to do this by job hours, by client hours, or staff hours? So to do that, again, it's in the same, I will show you in the next one where the billing method is. But when you pick it, if you have the client hours, you can have a price for the client. If you have staff hours, you'll see here I've got 2 staff members and I've got them charge out rate at a different price, because again, perhaps one's the BAS agent and one isn't the BAS agent. And then I have also got my job where I have said that, okay, my BAS lodgement, I am going to charge out at $150. So you do have that choice, that mix and match way of invoicing for your services. So here, just to show you where you go to add it to a job information, is you'll see it says billing method, and that's where you pick by your client, by your staff, by your job. So just for you to be aware of there. Now I actually, as I've done this, I've probably done it in some of it in the wrong order, but just to be aware, once you've got that price in there, you'll see that it is there for the job. Now here I'm actually going in and creating a timesheet. So you'll see I pick the timesheet, I'm in the job, and I'm going to do each of my checklists of my tasks separately, and I'm going to put a time in for those. Now it's really important to note that that little button there that I just pushed in fact gives you the current time. So it's not a timer at that stage there. So this is more about you putting a duration of how much you're going to charge that particular task out. So I'm going to charge 45 minutes for that task. Just to show you, and obviously it is billable. I did always do it as billable. Now, I'm not quite sure what's happening. Oh, there it is. So if you want to have a timer, you want the system to actually time what you're doing, you can also do that. Now, if you do that, it is actually up on the top toolbar again. You select the job and the task and the checklist, just like I did there with that timesheet, but the difference is that you do have a timer on it. So you go to the top toolbar and pick the little, what looks like a little clock, and you get this screen come up where you enter your job name, your task name, your checklist name, or you can just have it as the job, or either of those sections, and then you hit your start timer. So to do that, you go to the clock, you put in your job name, and this is real time. This is how much time, depending on how fast your internet is, in how long it takes to do it. So it searches for it, and it comes up with my, I can pick which part of the job I am doing, which part of the task I am doing, and I hit start timer. Now you'll see that it also is obviously just calculating the time, but you'll also notice that the other part of the screen has gone blank, and it's just in this blue section got the BAS lodgement and the part that I'm doing. What it means is that you can actually set up a few. Only timer works for one at a time, but they are all sitting up there in this sort of situation. So you just have one typing, and then you can hit stop, and then you can start the next one. But it means that all of those sections of that, all of those tasks of those jobs, if I want to be that accurate, I can time each one. Obviously, you need to at least get to a minute, otherwise it doesn't work. So you'll see what it is. You then, under your timesheets, you have a list of all the jobs you've been doing, and you'll notice that these first ones I've only had a minute on because I've been typing, because I put the timer on and I'm a bit impatient. But you'll see where the other ones have got 42 minutes or 20 minutes, I've actually typed that in. So you have that flexibility to use the system and use the timer. So then once you've timed, you've set your billing up, and then once you've timed, you actually want to create an invoice. So to do that, you also need to set up your bank details on your account. Now this is actually set up on your account totally. So you go up to where your email address is, where you sign out, and you'll see that there is one there that says My Account. You then go into account settings and business settings and to the bank details, and you edit. And this is the screen that appears here for you to be able to put in your bank details. That will then appear on your invoice. The other thing to note as well, as I showed you where the invoice setting is before, you can put your terms and conditions, if payments within 7 days, and all of those things that you can have on there. You can have any notes, but also the word tax invoice appears when you print or when you email the invoice, and the ABN appears on it. When you do it as a draft, just to be aware, it isn't there. So, if you go, does it get the word tax invoice? Yes, it definitely does. I have emailed myself invoices to check. So you go to the top toolbar and to the cog or the settings button, and you go to invoice settings to change those terms and conditions if you need to. So then to create a timesheet, to create an invoice, you can go to time billing and to your invoices. You can put in the job. Obviously you would finish all of your tasks for that job. So you create, pick new, and then you pick your customer, and everything there that you have timesheets approved, you are then able to tick those and have them all on that one invoice. So you could, in fact, if you've done 10 things for them, you could have those 10 things appearing. Now you'll see this is where I probably got myself a bit skew with, where the price didn't come up. and that's because I hadn't got the correct billing with the job. So just be aware, and it allows you still to overtype it. Creates a draft invoice for you to check so that that's as you expect, and then you have the option to email it, to print it, to send it to your client. Obviously, that's the only way we get paid is to have our invoices available, quickly at our clients. Any questions or any comments you'd like to make, Tiana?
Have a few questions, and I try to answer that through, and but I'll go through with you as well, Deb. There was questions from Lydia, and her question is, can we convert the existing job to become a job template?
Yes, they really, I believe they really are. They act as a template because when you've used a job, it's sitting there under your jobs, and you can then go and change the dates on that job and then, attach it to new clients. So really, when you create it, to me it always is. Tiana, would you agree or disagree?
I'll just reiterate that, Livia, because if it's an existing job that you're working on, if it's a job template that you will that you can apply to a client, but if it's an existing job that you have been working on, that cannot be a job template. But certainly you can go in, amend it, and etc. As Deb showed earlier. But it cannot be a job template if it's an existing job that you're working on for a specific client, and that cannot be applied to other clients as a job template, for subsequent or additional use or on other clients.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying my comments. Yeah, Gianna, because you're right. I'm thinking for me, the first thing I do is create a job. I don't attach to a client until I use the template first, if you like, and then I think there's only one job I've ever just gone in and for a client and created, because I always want to create my checklists. So yes, it's when you've created the job, you can then go and attach clients, but you can, from the job template, copy all the tasks, if that makes any sense. Yes.
So the next questions that I have is from Catherine, and is there a help guide? This one, there is a help guide. It is not very helpful, however, I have to admit, because we're continuously building out of our previous versions that we've written on. Having said that, progressively in the next couple of weeks, we will be posting up how to do videos so that you can refer to. Having said, like I've said, and as I mentioned to Catherine already, I replied to her already, is that because we continuously will be enhancing the features, so some of these help guide or videos will be a little bit, you might see some features there that might not be in your actual productions account. So just might be mindful, but if you're not too sure, just come back and let us know. There will be videos as to how to do things in the next couple of weeks.
Hopefully. Yeah, Tiana and I were discussing that it's just almost impossible, I think, to write a manual these days because software changes so quickly with compliance and with just technology. So yeah, I personally think the help videos will be great.
Yep. Furthermore, because as we mentioned from the very beginning, is that by the end of this year, early next year, a lot of OPM or the Office Practice Manager features will be combined into the Gov reports as we try to bring it forward, so that the lodgement usually come last and the planning and the practice management features should be at the front. So we try to bring that forward to the front so that some of these, as you can appreciate, the help guide will not be as up to date as we would like to be, but it is a reference. It's give you a lot of definitions as to what does what, and so you perhaps it can help you to understand how the workflow should be.
And also too, we've got a video that we did in February, and there are other videos on Gov Reports for you to have a look at different people, you know, using the program and using it in slightly different ways. So they're always good reference as well.
And the next questions that I have from Catherine, and which is a really good features that she's requesting, she's saying that when using the timer function, is there a way we can just assign just to the client with no job or task attached? For example, the admin or correspondent types of job, we have had to create separate jobs so we can charge the client. Understanding this, and I think we will analyze the requirements with the developer, and we'll add it on as they become available. We're advising you accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, what I've normally done is I have a site report job that and I have quite a lot of things in my checklist that I have as my site report. So I guess I can use the timer in that scenario and just put it to, you know, the sort of main task. That's how I use it.
Okay, so the next questions that I have from Esther, can the invoices be exported or imported into accounting software? Which ones integrate?
That's a really good question, and just hold that thought because I will come to that. Before we leave, you will definitely have an answer to that question.
Okay, and the next questions we have two more questions, Deb. Does that mean that existing job disappear after amendment?
Not quite sure I understand that question.
No, sorry, Livia just said that you already answered her questions.
All right, okay, cool, that's good. I'm glad I did.
And the next questions that I have also from Esther as well is does it do the progress invoices?
Does it do it progressively? You can certainly add, but I honestly haven't tried that. When you saw that the invoice was in draft form, there is an add button there that you can go and add, but I don't know whether it adds things timesheets that I've already done. I haven't actually honestly tried that because I tend to do a job and then invoice so that I, you know, get the money straight away rather than keeping it there and then adding another job later on. I invoice weekly, probably. That's my answer.
Okay, well that's all the questions, Deb. So
okay. All right. I shall keep going then. Oop, wrong thing I clicked on. Okay. So then now we want to talk about reminders and appointments, and I'm sure all of you have already worked out that you absolutely can tick your reminders and appointments on for each job onto your calendar. So they can be accessed from the top toolbar, from the client profile, or from the job, the reminders. So just for you to be aware the different areas. So in the attach via client, it is in that top line of where all the job, the engagement letter and the billing, etc. Then you've got reminders and appointments there that you can certainly add a reminder. It can be attached via your templates that you can put reminders in, or you can go to the top toolbar to the little bell and add a client, a reminder, or a job reminder, or a task reminder. So it really does make it very easy for you to put all of that onto your calendar. Of course, the calendar can get full. So here with your reminder and appointments, you just select new reminder and then you can create whatever reminder that you need to. Obviously, if you have a job, you can, also do that. But this is a particular one. I've found out this client's ABN has been deregistered, and so I've written myself a reminder to contact her to actually put, to say, well, what are you going to do? If are you going to go back into business? Because obviously she hasn't been. And so I've added it to my calendar and I just save. And so it's sitting there in my reminders on my client and on my calendar. The thing with the calendar, and I'm sure if you have all been using the software, you've actually already worked that out, but if it's green, that is the start date of a job, and then if it's red, it's the finish date. So that can be very helpful if you have given yourself, 3 weeks or a week or something to do the job. It's there every day to remind you that you need to make sure that that job has been completed. Again, as I said, the green is for starting the job, the red is for the end date, and I don't know if you have wanted to delete them. If you do want to delete them, the thing to know is that you actually have to delete the whole job to get it off the calendar. So again, if you always don't tick it to add to the calendar in the first place if you don't want some of these jobs on the calendar. The event reminders, they will be displayed in the calendar as blue, or you can get brownie ones as well. The blue ones you definitely can delete. So here I've got my calendar. I have put in, just to show you again, if you use that sort of little thing, I always think that looks like a golf tee. Again, shows you your scheduled jobs and your event. So because that's blue, I can actually delete it off the system, so you can certainly get rid of those events out of your calendar. Oh, we probably don't have another question at this point, Tiana, unless there's anything you want to add.
So questions.
Oh.
That's from Catherine, and is that once a job is completed, we've noticed that it disappears from the calendar. Is there a way to leave it there or so we can see what has been completed?
I would imagine the only way would be not to actually tick it as completed. Tiana, do you want to tell me whether I'm right or wrong?
Sorry, sorry, Deb, just mute myself while you answering the questions, and I'm trying to figure it out how to put it back on. Yes, you can. You can. Yeah, I think, has it been removed? Is it removed? Sorry, I'm just.
Because I guess the other thing that you could try is, if you'll notice with the jobs, you can have them closed in different varying way, closed and lodged, or completed and lodged, completed. Those, I guess what the idea would be to play with those choices of completed to see. I probably tend to use my job list rather than the calendar to look at my completed jobs. But yeah, Tiana?
Deb, I just got a confirmations from our architect here, and we can enable that, Catherine. So we'll enable that back on with the different colors as you suggested.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be great. That's a great.
Yep. So you will have records of what has been completed, and it shows that it has completed all the schedule, and be able to export as part of your auditing.
Cool. That'd be great. Thanks, Tiana. Thanks, Tiana. And thanks, Catherine, for asking that for that change.
And we also have another question, and that's from Miriam. I'm just reading this. We're not good, but can we also have a written help notes to find this helpful? Yes, Miriam will, like as I mentioned earlier, we had a question relating to the help guide. At the moment, we do have a help guide. If you go look into your dashboard, you'll see there's a question mark. However, having said that, I would say that the help guide is not really helpful, because we have continuously been building out, developing, like continuous enhancing the features. So you would find some of the features that it has been in the help guide might be a bit, not up to date. But we'll be adding on the help videos in the next couple of weeks, so it will be assisting you. Having said that, this video this webinar is recorded, so you can always revisit and see where some of the features, how Deb has you been using it.
Thanks, Tiana. I shall keep going, shall I?
and Catherine asked another question, perhaps I can attend to this. She's asking about what the team are currently working on and what has been completed. We will be advised, when we release features, we will update and send you the list. Having said that, in the past, what we found out is that when we start releasing, the boys get very excited. They release the features without the formal approval or quality control, and then people start, jumping on to using it, and then we thought, oh well, everyone has been using it, and just got so many questions, but we haven't made the announcement. But we will make an effort to do that, Catherine. Miriam.
Yes, well, what was it that was added this week? I know that I turned it on. I went straight and turned it on.
Well, there's a few features. You'll be receiving emails tonight. We're sending out emails. There's it's not related to OPM, so we have released the digital signature, the save messages. So when in bath seasons, when you're sending out you might be sending out to clients for digital signature, the same message instruction message might be sent to your clients. That message can be saved and sent on, and save and use for other clients that you do basis for as well. That's one of the features. But having said that, let's focus on the OPM. I'm sure you'll be receiving emails later tonight.
Cool. Well, that sounds exciting, Tiana. I'm excited. Okay. Okay, so now sharing with your teams. So if you have team members, even if there's, only 2 of you or 3, there you can share job templates with staff members. You can allocate work to staff members. You can have an approval process. And so just some reports about the staff time and the job time. So to have a look at your job, to share your job templates is pretty easy. You go into jobs, into templates, into job template, and then select the job to share. So that's, and it's on down the bottom on that main edit job screen where share this template to all members in your account. And so if you say yes, then everyone can share it, which of course the advantage is if you share it once you've got all your tasks and your checklists in, then again all of your team members can be working from that same checklist. And the theory is we're all doing the same thing, and so therefore we should all be getting similar results. Can't always guarantee it, but I can always hope. Once you have that share this template turned on, you'll then find that when you look at the job, it does say that down the bottom, share to all members. So obviously, I guess all of the members can then go and edit it if they want it, edit it their own version if they want to have it slightly different. The other thing to note, and I've discovered this because I am my own authorised user, I'm the only one that uses my version of Office Practice Management, so that when a job is managed by the admin user rather than just an authorised user, so there's only generally one admin user, and that's whose name the computer software is in, and then admin authorised users are other people that are added to your system. So if you're the admin user and you allocate a timesheet, it is approved automatically. Obviously, the theory is that if you're the admin user, you don't have to get approval because you're the one who everyone else is coming to for approval. So the other thing too, and I discovered this as well, as I tried to make someone else on my system as an authorised user, and I actually gave them the client and said, okay, authorised user, you're the client, and then I let them give me a job to do. And what I found out is that even as a person doing a task for another team member, because I'm the admin user, again, it's automatically approved. So just be aware that if that happens to you, if you are the admin user rather than an authorised user.
Deb, so can I interrupt there? Sorry.
Yes, please.
Can I interrupt right there? My understanding is that you know when you create a job and you've got the job managed by who, you can change that. And if so, for example, myself and you are in the team, and although you are the admin person, and I'm the authorized users, but you know, normally the automatic process is that it would say that you're the person that managed the job, or the person that created the job template, or the person that, you know, so you will be basically the main person. But having said, if you change that and you put me as the person that managed the job, and you basically supporting the task, then you have to report, you have to get authorized from me still. Is that right? Yep,
Okay.
that's my understanding. But it's managed, depends on who the job is managed by. So the task, and when you allocate the task to other members of the team, the other members have to report to the person that managed the jobs. It's terminologies only. I think that's my understanding of how the
Right.
system
Also,
is written.
also too, I've only been sort of testing it, so perhaps I haven't even gone around with the right system. So obviously it is worth testing it if you do have a team, because as I said, I don't have a team, so I've been playing with it and perhaps I've got it round the wrong way. But if you do have a client, you can actually also manage the users there from that client, and you can see that you can make different people of the team who prepare the work, who prepare for that client, and then a different team member to lodge. So you certainly can tick that.
Mm.
Yes. Tiana, did you want to?
Yes, that's correct.
Cool.
And yep, so the jobs, when you set up the job template for the job for that client, you can determine the task and the task and who's managing the job, so that the workflow will be as according to your requirements.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then if you go to jobs and select my jobs, and you're creating a job or you're already using a job, you enter the job name, select allocate, and tick the check box for the authorized user. So that screen there is just going new, and then you create the job, you allocate it to, and then you can pick who you're allocating the job to. So the job management and job allocation are reflected then on the main screen. So it does appear, so you can see each time who, this is the client, this is the job, and this is who's managing the job, and here is the allocation. It's been allocated to John. Then John is able to go into Office Practice Management, and he can see his own jobs that he has been allocated. So again, he goes to jobs, selects my jobs, and then you'll see that that job that Gabriel has allocated to him will come up in his My Jobs list. So the My Jobs list is very particular to whoever is signed on. Then to submit timesheets for approval, you go to the time billing and click New for timesheets to create a new timesheet. Then you add the job, the task, the checklist, you know, whatever part of it, and again the date and the time that you want to invoice for that client for that task or that part of the checklist. So here it's taken 8 hours, so obviously it was a very big job. So remember that when you click on that, it does give you the current time, but that's actually going to be charging him 8 hours. So again, then you save it. Then once this timesheet has been saved, you'll see that the status, if you go into timesheets, says not submitted. So that's really important. So it won't appear on an invoice if it hasn't been submitted and approved. So you absolutely need to do that. So again, you go to the actions box and you select the actions, the send for approval, and then it gives you that question again, are you sure you want to send it for approval, so you can obviously confirm that. Then when it has been submitted, and once it has been, you then get a screen. So the status is changing on each step as you go through this approval process. So the screen shows you that it has been submitted once it's been sent, and then the person who is managing the job goes into manage timesheets, and you'll find, which obviously I've had the situation where I'm approving everything as soon as I do the timesheet. So when I go into manage timesheets, I don't have anything there. So the manage timesheets is when they have all been submitted to you for approval. You then pick the job, again go to the actions button and select approve, or obviously you can select reject if that's the case, or view it. And again, you get that confirmation, do you want to approve this timesheet? Then it is sitting in your pending timesheets or approved timesheets, depending on where the approval process is. And it has the nice green button to tell us go, that it has been approved, and now it can be turned into an invoice. Tiana, is there anything you want to add?
Sorry, we just have a few questions, so I'll just perhaps we go through these questions first, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so there's a question from Livia. You mentioned the job template like recurring job template. What is the main difference between a job template and a recurring job template? And is it only the recurring date sections or something else as well?
It is, the recurring job template means that you plan to set it up more than once as you set it up the first time. So for example, if you had one called BAS preparation, you could set it up so that every 3 months that job is going to be set up. So you could go into, your 5 clients, set up, use the recurring template, and all of a sudden you've got your whole year planned. So that's what the difference is with the recurring. Tiana, is there anything else that I missed on that?
No, you're right. You're right, Deb. So it's we also I also written an answer to Livia as well. So yeah, it's really depends on how you set up the job. So recurring job template will have the schedules and occurrences. So when you create a job using recurring job template, the scheduled job will automatically created rather than the normal job template that you normally do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way for me that if you want to go in January or if you want to go in July and plan your year, you could set up those, BAS preparation template as a recurring, say, okay, it's going to happen 4 times every quarter. You could attach all of your clients in one move to that job, and then, as I said, you've set up the whole 12 months already. You could say, okay, I date everything like the 1st of April, the 1st of July, the 1st of October, so that they happen, so you can then go back in and make appointments. So that's what I use the recurring job template for. Any other questions?
We have another question. Can you allocate tasks allocate at task level, so you have more than one staff on a job but allocate different tasks?
So I don't honestly know that, Tiana. I'm going to throw that back to you.
Okay, yes you can. So if you got in a job and you have 5 staff member that you want to allocate to 5 staff, you can do so. Just make sure where it says the job is managed by who. So if the job, you put the job is managed by you or by one of the staff member, then all the other tasks and where you allocate the other task, other tasks to other staff member, then all your other staff members will have to report to the person you allocate to manage the job. So if it's you who manage the job, then everyone will get authorizations from you to get the approval from you. But if it's a staff member that you allocate to manage the job, then that person will be managing the approval process.
I guess, Tiana, the way to think about it is how often in accountants' practices they have the junior accountants who do most of the work, but the senior accountant is the one who signs off on it.
That's correct, and this is a typical example. So, for example, you show earlier where you know, the person who lodges the BAS is different from the person that prepared it. In Gov Reports, you can allocate someone to prepare it, but in Office Practice Manager, you can also allocate other staff member who you know, may perhaps get the bank reconciliations for each of the bank account, or you know, collect all the different bank accounts, or doing different things for different for the same clients. Maybe it's 5 staff, but it's 5 or 6 staff doing the same to complete the BAS for that particular client. It's possible.
Well, that's, yes, if you have a big staff, you definitely do allocate the smaller things, like saying, making sure that everybody's bank feeds is down to one staff member, and you're going to give them the authority to do it.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions, Tiana?
Nope, that's it. And I think, Miriam, you're correct that the boys have taken off the help guide. They said they're updating it, but they have not put it up there. So I will ask them to put it back on again until we change it. But otherwise, as I mentioned, the help videos will be up in a couple of weeks.
Cool. All right. So just quickly to mention the reports, there's a staff time detail report, a running time detail report, an invoice report, and the reports can be exported to the CSV file. So everyone who asked before about can you import it into accounting software, if you can import a CSV file, you can certainly get it out of Office Practice Management and get it into your software. So the staff time detail report gives you between dates that you choose, so you can either just do it for one staff member or for all of your staff members, you know, or for one client. Who do you want it to do, and what dates, or a particular job. And so there's the staff time detail you see with all the timesheets that are in there. Then the running time detail looks pretty similar. And it's more just about, again, it can be refined by the staff and the client. I just went in there and put that. You'll see I haven't actually defined it by anything, so it would have given me all of that information. So it's got the staff member first, and then the client, and then the timesheets, the timesheets under that for each client. Then we have got an invoice report. Now I've only done one invoice, as you saw. I only did the draft invoice, and so that is my invoice report. But what I'm able to do, as I mentioned, is to export it as a CSV file, and there it is, the same as the invoice, which I could then import into my accounting software. Now to do that, it is on that little top toolbar. That's the icon for you to export, and you can get it as a PDF, a CSV, an Excel, a rich text, or a web archive. So most of your software will certainly take a CSV. Most of your accounting software will usually import a CSV file or an Excel, so it is available there. And that's all from me, really, other than to, you know, encourage you to use Office Practice Management, because, again, documenting it all and having team members all use the same, then you know, if you like, the quality of work that is going to happen within your team, and you do have some control of it as an office manager, to have those same checklists and office procedures happening. But so, Tiana, is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, we are good. I think pretty straightforward. I think we have answered most of the, you have answered most of the questions that I had as well. So now, having said that, integrations with the questions about integrations, and you answered very correctly that we already have CSV, but the boys are saying that possibly we could also look at integration with other software, but we need to analyze this, and we'll let you know as if that's become a reality.
Well, I certainly imagine that, yeah, we probably would like it to go into our accounting software. But certainly you can deal with it with the CSV. Yeah. And my usual idea for everyone, if you do want to import into software, is that you export something out of the software, and then that gives you the columns that you need. So you then know that you can match it, match the pathway.
Perfect.
All right. So
any other questions from anyone?
Other than just us going out there and playing with it, Tiana, and that's what a lot of us don't have the time, is to play with it. So that's why these webinars are there, and you can go back over it and have a look.
Okay, like I said, if anyone has any other questions outside these sessions, please let us know, send us an email or give us a call. We are looking for feedback as well, so that it also gives us ideas and to analyze and go into further into our features and development. So yeah, pretty straightforward, I guess.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming, and thank you for listening to us. And other than that, Tiana, I'll leave you to sign off.
Thank you, everyone. As I mentioned, this session is recorded, so we'll be sending this out in the next by Friday, if not early next week, to you. And yeah, if you can revisit the webinar, or if you've got any other questions, let us know. Thank you and good night.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.